Audio Jungle.
All right, we are back for this week. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review, where we come to you live from Mott Branch Library, where we're streaming live. We're right here in the pink room. So if you're in the area, if you want to come in and sit and check out our podcast live, you can do that. They can do that, can't they?
They can do that.
All right. What we're going to do right now is play our intro video. That way you can like, share, and comment. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. We'll be right back.
I must confess that that dream that I had that day has at many points turned into a nightmare. Now, the other thing that we've got to come to see now that many of us didn't see too well during the last 10 years, that is that racism
not guilty
is still alive in American society and much more widespread.
Broke his neck after Baltimore police.
A handful of protesters, a handful of criminals and thugs who...
Many in moments of anger, many in moments of deep bitterness, engage in riots. And as long as America postpones justice, we stand in the position of having these recurrences of violence and riots over and over again. Social justice and progress are the absolute guarantors of riot prevention.
Mr. Gray's death was a homicide.
The Negro was freed from the bondage of physical slavery.
The athletes marched onto a stage.
But at the same time, the nation refused to give him land to make that freedom meaningful. Freedom without land to cultivate. Freedom and famine at the same time.
And create jobs for our people.
The Negro is to be free. He must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful. Individually, we are poor when you compare us with white society in America. We are poor. Collectively, we are richer than all the nations in the world with the exception of 9. That's power right there if we know how to prove it. We begin the process of building a greater economic base. And at the same time, we are putting pressure where it really hurts. We don't have to argue with anybody. We just need to go around to these stores and to these massive industries in our country. Say, God sent us by here to say to you that you're not treating his children right. We come by here to ask you to make the first item on your agenda fair treatment where God's children are concerned. Now, if you're not prepared to do that, we do have an agenda that we must follow. And our agenda calls for withdrawing economic support from you. We mean business now, and we are determined to gain our rightful place in God's world.
All right, we're back once again. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review, where we come to you live from Mott Branch Library. And Jody, I got to give a shout out to Kevin and the staff here at Mott Branch. Every Tuesday that we're here, they roll out the red, black, and green carpet. They have our room set up for us. Well, they don't have it set up. We still got to move the tables, but for the sign. Right. So for the last 3 years we've been here. For the last 3 years, since maybe 2020, 2021, we've been here at Mott Branch Library, making it happen with this podcast. Let's get into some introductions. We're going to have an election day breakdown, as well as a few other things that's happening in the community. I'm Brother Washington. I am one of the founding members of CSRN, as well as an active and registered member of the Nation of Islam. And we'll show this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper, the center article, and then we're going to talk about our Savior's Day convention, which is the big Nation of Islam convention of the who's who of the woke people. All right, I'm definitely going to be in the house for that. Hey, what am I wearing today? I have on my Gaza University sweatshirt. And Jody, today it was warm enough. I mean, it was cold enough to wear a sweatshirt to the studio today. Did I wear it to work? I didn't wear it to work because I had my work clothes on today. All right, I've got on a kind of a yellow gold cap, my glasses from Optical, Twix in between. And if you see my sister, Christian Moncrief, let her know I said what's up, and give you that 20% discount on your next pair of eyeglasses. And as always, I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the home of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else. We're doing this for the activist culture and the protest community, creating our own platform where we can come and talk about some of the things that we'd like to lift up, and also invite guests on to talk about what they're doing and how they impact the community. Man, I think that's it for me, Jody. If you could introduce yourself, then we're going to come right back with our mission statement and our guiding principles.
What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Truth, the treasurer of this wonderful organization that has been going on 11 years now. 11 years. Well, we got to wait till the end of the month. But still,
okay.
Yeah, a couple more episodes. It'll be 11 years. And we thank you for always tuning in and engaging with us in the comments and engaging with us in public and giving us ideas for forms, or are we supporting for pretty much a lot of the stuff that we do in the community. You know, we're a small grassroots organization that's not funded by anybody, that's not taking orders from anybody.
That's right. You just need to say that again, just in case somebody think that we're taking orders from anybody. All right.
That is a integral part of our community because we love our community so much so that it's in our name.
That's right.
So in that aspect of just being citizens out here, not trying to gatekeep or find a way to gate crash, you know, might do some of that, but to come and sit and listen with us. It's a very interesting thing to have a platform like this where most of the time we do have special guests in the house from the community that actually do stuff. And then there are those few occasions where we have to go and take our titles and badges and go off the air, or just you get to talk to us.
That's right.
One of those talk to us days where we can kind of recap of what actually goes on in the community and instead of clipping somebody else's news who was actually there and saying, hey, this is what their opinions were. This was actually us there. Again, thank you for always tuning in. Thank you for staying engaging, whether it be on Facebook or Instagram or on our Spotify and YouTube. We appreciate all the questions, the comments, the shares, the love and likes and all of that good stuff as we try and make our way to 100,000 on YouTube, to get more community involvement in, I guess, life. We're not really trying to be influencers or something like that, because we do influence our community hands-on, not from the other side of the screen. So I am wearing, as we describe ourselves, and again, as I let off, we're not bought or sponsored or have to listen to anybody. We may get an email or two that's like, oh, yeah, I should do that. And you just press the red button.
Yeah, okay, that's right.
We did it 5 minutes ago. If you know that quote from, what is that movie? Well, it's a movie out there. I did it 5 minutes ago. But either way, I am a big brown bear of a man that is covered in tattoos and crystals and stones and bones and artifacts and things from doing this without any leashes on me or somebody telling me how to think or what is that, crowd think that goes on in a lot of things. I'm not sure. Can you hear that in the mic? Yeah, group thing.
And I do hear that in the mic, but and even though we heard it in the mic, it still comes out well on the other side.
Hopefully so. That's a good saying to tap somewhere on you. But how do we get to this point? Also, I'm wearing, of course, my hat. Behind me is my staff that you might see all over around the world. My brand of hoodies called Care Bear Gear. The extension of my books and my artwork that you can wear. And there's an inspirational quote on the back and all that good stuff. I custom make and sign each one of these myself. It's not a corporation or Amazon that you can click and point to and get.
That's right.
You have to speak to me. The crystals, I make them for so many around the place, and I keep them around me. So when I am on stage by myself facing fears and demons and tyrants and political entities, I'm not alone. But a lot of things are going on in the world right now. Currently, from what I hear, the Senate did pass and it's got to go to the House, but we are still in the longest shutdown in the history ever in the country. So as a lot of people are holding on to their SNAP benefits and their veteran benefits, and the federal workers that really can't probably supply or provide for their family like they want to, since they're having to make very tough decisions for some of them their very first time. We can't get the kids something because we might not be able to pay the mortgage. Gas, a vehicle, anything can happen in your life, and nobody is prepared for it when it happens.
That's right.
All the Boy Scouting you want, when something happens that's tragic or catastrophic in your life, you're almost never prepared. So as we see, the world is still not burning, thankfully. This is how we kind of gather these folks and villagers and us to our community, to our cause, and some may stay, some may go, some may find other organizations to grow into that just don't quite fit our branding. But our branding is something that we are very proud that we've been doing for the last 11 years. So,
and how do we get there?
We get there with a mission statement
and our guiding principles,
which is kind of like the foundation and our doctrines for things that hopefully will be here and be edited long after we're gone. Our somewhat constitution of things, which is in more of our guiding principles.
That's right.
But the mission statement is what brought us here all those many years ago to the table. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer, a Ferguson, Missouri police officer, of Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, provoked, attacked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring awareness to the fact that most often, yes, most often, police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. We utilize police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events that help foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable, yes, accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc., etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally to all, yes, all, regardless of class, creed, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives, yes, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I'm getting
Yeah. Okay. And I think maybe we had it. It could have been too far.
Yeah.
All right. Could have been. Hey, these are our guiding principles, and we came up with these from the Movement for Black Lives. I think that was in 2015. And another shout out to our intro video. That video was made, I think, in 2015, just before Justice or Else. And that video just speaks the truth to all the things that we need as a people, which is land. You know, no matter how we protest, at one point we got to have our own, Jody. But the thing that keeps us together are our guiding principles, and these are the guiding principles that I'm going to read to you. All Black Lives Matter, queer Black lives, trans Black lives, formerly and presently incarcerated Black lives, poor working class Black lives, differently able Black lives, Black men and women lives, immigrant Black lives, Black elderly and children lives. All Black Lives Matter and are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise together. Ashe.
Ashe.
And that means one who changes a thing and one who makes a thing happen. Thriving instead of surviving. Our vision is based on the world we want, not the one we're currently in. We seek to transform, not simply react. We want our people to thrive, not just exist. Think beyond the possible. Ashe.
Ashe.
Experimentation and innovation must be built into our work. Embrace the best tools, practices, and tactics, and leave those behind that no longer serve us. Ashe.
Ashe.
Evaluation and assessment must be built into our culture. Critical reflection must be a part of all of our work. We learn from our mistakes and our victories. Ashe.
Ashe.
Principled struggle can exist in a positive environment. We must be honest with one another by embracing direct, loving communication. Ashe.
Ashe.
Love, self-love is practiced in every element of all we do. Love and self-love must be a driver of our work and an indicator of our success. Without this principle and without healing, we will harm each other and undermine our movement. Ashe.
Ashe.
360-degree vision. We honor past struggles and vision and wisdom from elders. The work we do today builds the foundations of movements of tomorrow. We consider our mark on future generations. Ashe.
Ashe.
Self-care means we build resilient spaces by budgeting time, energy, and resources for healing. Self-care is a regular, consistent, intentional, and essential practice. Ashe.
Ashe.
The most directly affected people are experts at their own lives and should be in leadership at the center of our movement and telling their stories directly. Ashe.
Ashe.
Training and leadership development should be fundamental. Our movement must constantly grow, and leadership must constantly multiply. Ashe.
Ashe.
And again, I think that our guiding principles have allowed us to really, Jody, work in every space where there's opposition, every space where there's revolution, every space where the poor, the voiceless are calling out. So we fit in all of those spaces. We collaborate, then we come right back to center in order to continue on doing what we do.
Yep.
Hey, what I'm gonna do right now, we're gonna have a short break. We're gonna come back and talk about our election breakdown. You know, some of the things that people like, some of the things that people didn't like, but we got to file it in the "it is what it is," folder, because it's done. So whoever you thought you wanted to win, it's still time to get out there and make a difference in our community, regardless if you won or lost. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. We'll be right back.
Pathway Incorporated Brothers United program believes that children are important. Every day we support and advocate for fathers, because when children have involved fathers, the whole community thrives. The fathers that come into the Brothers United program are mostly young fathers who are primarily gang members or drug dealers, or those involved in lots of trauma from the time when they were youth until now. The program has fatherhood classes, which teach you about your role as a father, the importance of being a father, healthy relationships, how to co-parent and work better together with your co-parent, and then economic stability, how to get a job, how to keep a job. It is so important for fathers to learn to take care of their children holistically, not just emotionally, not just physically, but financially as well, because children need a holistic approach.
I really just needed help with really being a better father and looking for a job to be able to support my kids.
Some of the problems I was facing when I joined Brothers United was communication with my children. Had some time apart from each other for a while, so they gave me the tools to really get back in communication with them.
Fathers will come into our program with their heads down. 2 weeks later, their heads are up. 3 weeks later, they're laughing and talking. 4 weeks later, they're building a bond. And by the time we get to 8 weeks, they're saying, hey, we want to stay here. What can we do to stay connected?
It gave me a better perspective on how to look at things from other people's point of view. You know, sometimes us as men, we get caught up in being prideful and arrogant, thinking we don't need the help. We do. And we just have to put our pride, selfishness, and arrogance to the side. And when the help is there, take it.
Hope plays the most important role in everything that we do, because we have to have hope. We have to remember that fathers are important, and we have to not only say it, but we have to live it. We have to breathe it. We have to do it. We have to convey it to everyone.
Let's get a BU Nation on 3, fellas. 1, 2, 3. BU Nation!
The dads give us hope. The dads supply for us on the days when it gets hard. On the days when we've seen more violence than we ever want to see. On the days when we've lost some dads to jail or to murder, they give us hope. And so the hope that lives can change, if you invest in them, if you believe in them, then lives can change.
Brothers United changed my life, let's say, because of where I come from, what I've been through. I learned to understand it is help out there. Don't be scared to ask for it. If you don't reach, you can't grab. That's it.
They made me more employable, more desirable by employers, which in turn helped me provide for my family and provide for my children and my grandchild. So it makes me a better man, a better father, and a better example.
It showed me how to be better to my kids, so I went and got custody of my son. My son been with me for a couple months now. So this showed me how to be a better parent all around, just a better man, period.
Initially, I didn't know that it could change men's lives. I didn't know that fathers could change. But it's amazing to me when fathers come back a year later, 2 years later, and tell us thank you. Or they'll make a Facebook post and say, look at what I'm doing now. It's amazing to me about the level of work that we've been able to do and the lives that we've changed in just a short period of time. And the fathers who come back and say, thank you, I needed you, and you were there.
Shout out to Brothers United, man. Be you.
All right, we are back. I don't know why that's just showing like it's a small thing in the corner. But anyway, we're back. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. I think for the last couple of weeks, we were off because of there was an election. There was election last week. The week before, we joined for the Palace. Right. We had had some things going on that we weren't able to stream live, but we're back. And I really want to just go through what I call my the election breakdown. Those who won, those who were campaigning and didn't get elected. And I'm gonna start with them first. I want to highlight my brother Blair Johnson, highlight my brother Rob Pasker, my brother Roberto Torres, and the one young lady that was running for council that had to write. They had to write her in. I'm gonna figure out her name.
Emily,
and also our brother Harold Harris. Man, look, I'm gonna start with Harold Harris. I'm gonna try to get through this because it's 6:30 now. We're gonna try to wrap up hopefully about 7. But just give some of these men and women their flowers while they're still here. Big shout out to Harold Harris. Ran a dynamite campaign. He's always been out in the community. Most people call him the sign guy because he'll be on one of the corners of a major street with a sign saying either vote or whatever it says. And also he puts his money where his mouth is because he also has billboards. He has the Black Lives Matter billboard. He has the George Floyd I Can't Breathe billboard. So that brother has been really making a positive impact, and he decided to use that as a platform to run for mayor. He even had a really nice political commercial on television. So shout out to our brother Harold Harris that also attended our mayoral forum. Shout out to Blair Johnson, just no spins, just solutions, and his campaign. And I think that, Jody, it's been a while since I've seen anyone come out the gate like Blair Johnson and just have yard signs everywhere. I was always almost like, man, they need to have a recount because he had a sign everywhere. So shout out to Blair Johnson. Yeah, shout out.
Started his campaign before I saw anybody else out there and looking at the finalized numbers and stuff. Again, if you were brave enough to put yourself, your privacy, your identity in life to be scrutinized by every single citizen, every single politician, a hand clap for you. The numbers at the end of the day showed that their campaigns made much traction. They may have not gotten the seats they were going for, but they made their names known, especially as first-time running people. I mean, they got a good part of the vote. I believe there was 9 and 10 and 7s I saw from our candidates that have been on the show. Congratulations to like Cassandra, who's been on the show, and Aaron, and some of the other candidates that are returning.
Toronto, yeah.
That again are going to go in there for the 4 years that they have. Some of them on their very last term, like a good friend of us outside of the show, Nick Comives, who is headed into his last, I guess you could say, installment of politics today.
Yeah.
And however the world is going and stuff like that is, again, as I repeat, as I said at the opening at the show, we are still in a government shutdown.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And also a shout out to my brother. Let me bring this up. I'm not going to bring it on the screen. Sometimes I just have to see some of the stuff on the screen to read. Rob Pasker, who probably had one of the coolest yard signs. All right, with the city background. I think that is a city image.
Yeah.
And his
city.
Right. His slogan was building stronger communities together. He has a background in housing, and he used that as part of his platform to make sure everyone be aware that home ownership is one of the keys to success. and his slogan was leadership, accountability, progress, your voice for a better Toledo. And one of the things that stood out for me with Rob was his Instagram, where the videos, the high quality videos. And I got a chance to ask him about that because I wanted to kind of incorporate that in what we're doing and ask him who does it, how does it get done? And he's like, hey, it's me. I'm doing that. If it looks like a selfie video, I'm doing it. So shout out to Rob for really stepping up the quality of your video, the quality of the presentation, and for both Rob and for both Rob and Blair, the professionalism that they had on the show and what I've seen, engage in the community was top shelf. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Roberto Torres, coming back to Toledo, looking at the landscape and saying, hey, look, I really think we could do better. And he decided that, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and run for mayor. I'm going to go ahead and swing for the fence, shoot for the moon. And he had a dynamite campaign. And he was even able, during his campaign, to speak out to some issues that were going on in the community, knowing that that might make some people not like him, some people love him, some people indifferent, but just his ability to do that while he's going through the campaign is commendable too, because he could have easily just shook hands and kissed babies and kept it right there. So, and also he was a part of the group along with us that got the mining company shut down that was operating illegally, and that was wild right there.
Yeah, we've done some wild things in our 11 years.
Right. And so a big shout out to Dr. Brittany Jones. All right. Big shout out to Cassandra. I think you called her Cassandra. I'm just saying it on.
Cassandra.
I'm just saying it on the mic. Not that I'm a snitch, but I'm just saying it on. I'm just saying it on the mic just in case you're watching us. Yeah. Shout out to both those sisters and Nick that started out as one of the activists.
Yep.
All right, with the bullhorn.
Canvassing and stuff.
Right.
We worked programs and knocking and stuff together. I was there during the campaign and after. And, it's a lot that goes into local city politics.
Yeah.
I can't speak anywhere above state, although I do know some senators and some state reps and stuff. But the people I see most often when I do make my executive committee meeting is the local people who I've knocked doors with and set up in strategy meetings with and talked about city infrastructure and how to build a more comfortable, vibrant city. I can't say that all of those ideas and all of those people I've liked. We went to many things, including Cincy City Council when they were trying to buy a tank for the police department. But, as our former president did, she denied them having a pay raise because she didn't feel it was right when so many people were suffering that they should get an extra pay raise. Now, I don't know if that's going to change over the course of the next 4 years, but at least at the time it was something where you could say our local politicians felt what was going on in the community and didn't feel they deserved a raise.
Yeah.
Job could be done better.
That's right. So those are kind of my breakdown on some of the things that had happened. And of course we had our mayoral forum we had a mayoral forum, and we've had quite a few of those. And in the forums that we put together are on our dime. Mm-hmm. All right. So it's us that decide what we're going to do, what type of signage we're going to have. And it's different from any other forum that's just, kind of, I don't want to say, no, let me pick the right words. That's homogenized and pasteurized and whitewashed. So all you're doing is seeing the candidates, but you don't see the soul of the community. So whenever you come to a CSRN political forum, you also see in the soul vibe and spirit of the community and in the signs that we have up and some of the poster boards that we have up. Some that we have are from actual protests that we have up.
That we were in.
Right, that we were in. Not somebody's not loaning us their protest signs. These are ours, and for the public that comes in to hear the candidates, they also feel something. They feel some type of way when they come to a CSRN forum. They feel like they're not only being informed, but they're at home. So shout out to Roberto Torres. Shout out to Harold Harris, and the others that came to the forum, even though it was just for the mayoral candidates. We had Sir Sandra show up. Brittany was there. Blair was there. I think Rob. I'm trying to think. Did I see Rob? I think Rob.
I believe he was there.
Yeah, I think Rob was there. So many people show up. Emily was there also. So, and if I forgot some names, hey, it's just me getting old. So I forget these things, but just a big shout out for everyone that's involved in local politics. That's something that we can see, hear, and touch and smell. All right, because we know where you live. You live down the street from me. So anything that you're saying that you're going to do to get our vote, and then you do the opposite, we can always, talk about it at the I was going to say at McDonald's. Well, I didn't want to name any names, all right, but we could talk, But once you get to the national part, that's a whole different thing, Jody, because they're more apt to be handled by outside forces than our local people. Right. So if you can vote local, it does make a difference. You have a say-so in where your city dollars are going. You have a say-so where your county dollars are going. You have a say-so where your state dollars are going, because these people are still living in the community. They're not living in Washington, D.C. for months on end. And then when they come back to Toledo, you'll never see them. Right. So, and before I take a break, I wanted to process a comment. Those who are in the comment box, we have Imperial Dragon 4203. They said that we need a Democratic Tea Party. Democrats absolutely sold us out by not having a plan for Project 2025. And I'm feeling that statement because there's a lot of spaces that I identify as a Democrat. So we're able to see that our Democrat Party right now is kind of a reactionary party. They're going to comment on what the Republicans are doing and not coming up with their own plan and pushing it through. So something, Imperial, hey, something has to happen.
And, as an actual elected party member and all that stuff, I completely agree. I don't think, and regardless how anybody thinks of the situation, I don't think this one orange man that has been in office now for the second time has done enough damage that somebody has been in office for 47, 50 years and longer than I've been alive that had the ability, had the laws, had the interns, had the specialist and analyst and all of this stuff to put fail-safes in for one orange man who likes to press buttons and take orders from the Heritage Foundation.
The Heritage Foundation,
likes to order TV or employ TV personalities for state offices and federal offices. It's a lot that could have been done while they sit there and bicker and fight about how many people are going to starve under their dime. How many more institutions will fail under their watch. It's the satire of it is you get into politics thinking that becoming a gear in the process is going to change something, and then you realize that there are bigger gears than you that have been turning for so much longer and rely on people being afraid, rely on people being helpless without them. And now we see what happens when everything kind of grinds to a halt and people are no longer mesmerized by the ticking clock.
All right. So if you know Imperial Dragon on YouTube, hey, follow them on YouTube. I think we're going to give them a call and say, hey, come on in and let's talk about that. That's a good subject, because I think that sometimes we may not want to criticize our own. Mm-hmm. All right. If I'm a Democrat, then we don't criticize. And I don't want to be a part of anything.
No, we wouldn't have our mayor if that was the case. Anyway, okay. Before we do go to commercial break and stuff like that, I do want to say Happy Veterans Day.
All right.
To all of those that have served the country and make sure that our freedoms are free for whatever they might be. And happy national, and I do want to get it right, even though my brain says Indigenous, as the title is Native American Heritage Month.
Okay.
And as George Carlin once said, I'm going to call them as they call themselves versus whatever PC culture decides that they are nowadays. So Native Americans and Indians is what they call themselves. So that's what I shall call them, as my grandmother, or great grandmother, Azalee Brown, was a Blackfoot, and that is existent in my poetry and artwork. But anyway, we'll talk about that later.
All right, so what we're going to do right now, we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back with, I've got some updates on this week's edition of the Final Call. Then we got some updates on some of the things that's happening in the community that we've been a part of. And we're going to, and maybe a bit more, but man, it's 6:46. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. We'll be right back.
Canal. En esta hermosísima ciudad de Orlando.
I'm here in Barranquilla, Colombia, and in sunny Miami. Daytona Beach, mis amigos, that's where we're at today.
Desde la ciudad de Cartagena, Colombia.
We are in Orlando right now, here in Florida.
I'm Helene Sheets, Director of Marketing and Communications at beautiful Lourdes University, and we've been a proud sponsor and supporter of Voces Latinas TV for over a decade. It has been a fantastic partnership. It's been our doorway into the Latino community. We've met so many incredible people, created so many partnerships. Our students absolutely love the connections we've made through Voces Latinas TV, and we're looking forward to at least another decade, 2 decades.
All right, we are back. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. Hey, where are my headphones? If anything, I need to hear myself talking, but it is like, hey, we right here. But hey, just to decrease the level of feedback, we're back. This is the CSRN podcast, our week in review. And when we left, we were talking about some of the people that were elected, some of the people that didn't make it, but they still made a positive impact along the way. Roberto Torres, Harold Harris, Blair Johnson, Emily. I gotta find her last name.
Desmond.
Oh, Emily Desmond. Okay, you rambled that off real quick. All right.
Part of my job.
Yeah, and Rob.
Is.
All right, and Rob Pasker for definitely making that, just raising the level of the technical expertise of how to present your message. And we need to check in with Rob. Hey, teach us how to do that. Maybe we can have I don't know, maybe we can even improve the quality of what we're doing right now. I think that we've got all of the right equipment. We got the right software. We've got everything, but we'll still spin the block on Rob and say, hey, look, what is it that you think?
Maybe get some mobile mics and take it out to some events and stuff as the weather is colder and we have more indoor events that we can always be at. So that's impromptu on the street videos.
Yeah, and also, man, we're talking about how we're going to upgrade the podcast. Being able to do more mobile type podcasting. Yeah, we've got our main space here, but there's some places that we may want to take the podcast with us, but may not want to take 300 pounds of equipment with us, so maybe we'd be a bit more agile. So
do shorter clips and topics and stuff like that people are really concerned about at the moment. Like, where am I going to get my next food from?
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
Hey, that's serious.
It is become very serious. And I think I mentioned it was either when we started or some off air sometimes that sometimes I merged some of those. But yes, the Senate did pass with 8 Democrats conceding to whatever it was that the Republicans wanted for their deal. Now it moves on to the House. But, elections and all that stuff is still important. I can say personally, we didn't do as nearly as well as all of those No Kings marches had in attendance. From the last reporting I saw, we did about 21% or so. But considering that primaries were only like 13%,
true,
it ticked up, just not enough really to make a lot of changes. But I employ those. I believe my location had around 700 people or so. So it's not as much as presidential. I believe we had around 1,300 or so people. But, people are still somewhat active. There were a lot of questions and comments.
Yeah.
And to that, I say do your research. Long before they come out kissing babies and putting signs up and information, find out about because as a public servant, even myself, you can look up my record of how I vote on things. That tells you a lot more about a person than some social media ad or press blog or even a form, because how they react to things when they actually do sit in those seats and decide on your fate is kind of what really matters, or what they're aligned to. I don't believe so much now, especially being more so now that I've been an official for a minute. This is my 3rd term. I don't believe so much in party lines. It's just another way to, I'll vote independent, I'll vote Republican if that person actually has a plan that is worth my city.
Right.
Not just bringing in some corporation or turning everything, as Torres was saying, into a Sheets and Roundabouts town.
Sheets and car wash.
Sheets and car wash.
And roundabouts. Somebody's selling roundabouts here. All right.
Or places where you have so many homeowners that don't actually live here. So they don't understand the blight of the people that live here. And they're just like, oh, you know what? You're gone, evicted, or don't come to fix things. There's a lot more than just food benefits that's tied along into everything that's going on. Again, a lot of tough decisions are going to be made. As for a little humor, I don't think the country could miss out on a Black Friday. But even so, at this point, this is the longest shutdown in the history of the country. What are we at? 42 days now?
Right. And I like to see that just where the mentality of people are that we just finished having a shutdown, and what will Black Friday look like at the end of the world? All right. All right. What will Black Friday look like? Hey, if you read the tea leaves or just look at the signs of the boxes that are being checked. All right.
We might get a stimulus because of all the tariffs that we supposedly collected. That's, crippling grocery stores. I read a report of that too, of not just you being able to go buy stuff, but them being able to supply, because the grocery store is a very thin margin. They're not, they are, but they're not making that much on you coming in and getting stuff. So when you have an influx of people who haven't had nothing, and then they do get their stuff and clear the shelves, it's not going to be like, oh, today we're going to have some more fresh eggs. No, a lot of that stuff has to be thrown away. I work in the kitchen. I'm a chef. I got 7 days maximum, 6 technically, because you count that day as that day, to sell food. After that, no matter if it's good, if I would eat it when I was homeless, it has to go in the trash. There's a lot of food now being wasted or returned or destroyed because people can't afford it, or the grocery stores can't keep the shelves stocked. Aligning from that, I want to give a shout out to Jamaican Spice, who held a benefit over the weekend to help those victims of the hurricane. And
that's right.
Like that. It's little things like that kind of give you a little bit of hope in humanity. People trying to do more with less, because it always seems like we're doing more with less and less and less, and trying to meet the same standards of living that we were promised in this great country that we all live in. That every day you look at the news and it's like, what atrocity am I going to witness next?
Right. All right. Hey, listen, I don't want to say that's a segue. Speaking of atrocities, I want, if you get a chance, pick up this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. Every week we have some space to talk about what's going on, not only nationally and internationally. And the Final Call newspaper is maybe one of the best national and international Black publications. And this week's edition is America's errant foreign policy. Why is it that America has a policy for over here that's like, hey, whatever you want, you can have, and much more of it. And they have a different policy, over here. And I was going to just highlight one of the stories in this week's edition of the Final Call regarding Nigeria and what's happening as the United States looks like they're sending ships to Venezuela. They're sending ships to Nigeria. And it says that this is from the Final Call newspaper by Nabaya Arende, who's our guest writer this week. He says, Nigeria, a sovereign nation, has responded to President Donald Trump's threat to go uninvited into the African nation to flex his military might under the guise of saving one religious group from another. And that's what's happening right now. There's like a fake crusade narrative that there's Christian genocide happening in Nigeria, just as they're saying that Venezuela is sending boats with drugs to America. I think America already has the drugs.
Right.
All right, in there, but only the nations that it appears that only the nations that have oil
or not a national or centralized banking.
Right. Only the nations that may not have centralized banking, which maybe just a couple of nations that haven't fallen into that central banking, and nations that have oil. America decides that you're not treating its people right. Well, America has oil, and America's not treating its people right. Yeah. Maybe it's America that needs to focus on the poor, the disenfranchised of America, those who are still waiting for benefits. However, while people are waiting for food, America's still sending $40 billion to Argentina.
Yeah, and assistance, I believe.
Right. In Argentina,
200 daycares closed.
Yeah. And Argentina is one of the countries that they let all the Nazis go to.
Yeah.
All right. So get this week's edition of the Final Call newspaper. You might find myself or one of the brothers at the corners of Bancroft and Detroit, or you might find us in Moody. I think we may be in Moody Manor this week. Moody Manor has been showing us all types of love. So either way, pick up this week's edition of the newspaper. If you can't find us on the corner, swing by Moody Manor or swing by Yummy's, Bobby Howard's, Powell's, Nitty's barbershop right there at Oakwood, or is it Lincoln in Detroit, or by Foster's barbershop, and really also Impeccable Barbers right there on Reynolds near Bancroft. My brother Rob Whitlow and the staff there do an excellent job of allowing me to keep the Final Call newspaper in the shop for the people who could read, and then I may come in every once in a while with a positive word of the day if they want me to be speaking in there.
I see.
So that's what's happening. And lastly, Jody, before we go into our sub-dates, this February in Detroit will be the site for this year's Savior's Day convention, and every year we commemorate the birth of Master Fard Muhammad, who was the founder of the Nation of Islam. He is the teacher of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And here's a fun fact, that at that time, Elijah Muhammad was named Elijah Poole. He went to the 4th grade. That's when he dropped out. And also he was a heavy drinker. So what was it about these teachings that made him the teacher of Malcolm X? And everybody knows about Malcolm X. What was it about these teachings that made him the teacher of Muhammad Ali? What was it about these teachings that made him the teacher of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? So it's something to be said there about the methodology of teaching for us here in America that no one else, Jody, was able to do. And I always tell people, you'd be hard pressed to find anyone that calls himself a Muslim that hasn't come through the ranks of the Nation of Islam that have made an impact on society. And I'll be like, okay, I'll wait, regardless if you don't like the way we teach, because we bring race into it, because we bring politics into it, we bring popular culture into it, we bring farming into it, we bring math, science, medicine, health into the chat. Man, well, if you're teaching something that's absent all of those, then man, you can keep it. All right, you can keep it. So shout out to Detroit. This year it'll be in Detroit. It was just a short drive from Toledo. So I'm looking forward to getting the ball rolling there, maybe driving up to Detroit to make sure that we get the flyers and posters and all the advertising out for that. That is one of the crowning jewels of Black History Month, to be at a Savior's Day convention. You don't have to be Muslim to go to Savior's Day, but if you go on to any other convention, this is top tier when it comes to speaking truth to power and being around people that know what's up. So those are the two things that I wanted to highlight. And man, I wanted to go over, Jody, some of the things that you've seen happening in the community that you believe that we need to know about.
And anything that you were a part of this past couple of weeks? We have been away for 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, I think the biggest thing that that I was a part of, man. Number one, of course, it was the voting, and I was at the Teamster site right there at Hawley and South. And if anybody that was part of my crew, because I'm the VLM there, we have probably the best crew, because when we break things down, I'm either the first one taking our equipment back, or maybe number 3. I don't know who those other 2 are that's ahead of me. I'm gonna find out. All right, yeah, I'm gonna find out. But I think that was a big thing for me. And also finally finishing up with the Eden Community Garden. We finished up with cleaning out the garden, and we finished planting our garlic for the years. We plant that in the winter, and it comes back in the spring. Outside of that, and making sure that we're getting out in the community with the brothers from the Nation of Islam, with the Final Call newspaper. My weeks are normally full with either distribution of the Final Call newspaper, and also finding out some of the things that's happening in the community that we can attend together.
Awesome.
Right.
So here's some things that have gone on since our last lengthy episode, since we've been away for a bit. I'll start with Thursday, October 30th. There was the Film Toledo 2025 Halloween mixer and costume contest. It was awesome. I went to it. It was the first time being part of Film Toledo and some of the other stuff around the city to do more acting jobs and behind the scenes and everything. This year, instead of doing it at the Whiskey Saloon, it's a bar around the corner that we were doing it at, and now we've moved to Immersteria, which is also located downtown. We just took the upstairs, which I think for location and size and everything like that, I like that.
Oh, and that's right there on Monroe too, right?
Right there on Monroe. We had the upstairs portion, and it was nice. Shout out to all the winner of the contest and stuff, Hannah, who's a friend of mine. We're also extras in the Eeny Meeny movie and stuff like that. With more plans to come, talking about Tech Toledo and everything like that. Friday, October 31st, there was the Chosen Kids' third annual Trunk or Treat. I was held down at the docks. A lot of things have changed since my childhood, just randomly knock on strangers' doors anymore, sans COVID and all that stuff. So a lot of people do trunk or treats, and this one was held by my cousins. It was their third annual. I showed up and dropped some crystals off to everybody and stuff like that. Friday, October 31st, there was the Ozzy Osbourne Diary of a Madman tribute that was held at Frankie's. I was able to show up. Shout out to my dude.
Hey, that's on the east side?
That's also on the east side. Just a bridge hop away from where we had the trunk or treat. And I was over there to show some love to a friend of mine, Richard, who also goes by Zenadere, and it's one of the flags on my staff and stuff like that, from a friend that I met at the House of Rock here in Toledo. So that was awesome to go to. Hopefully you were able to attend and see all the other live tribute bands and stuff. Sunday, November 1st was D-Flame Candle's 5-year anniversary. That was at the Truth Art Gallery, which is right there on Bancroft and Franklin, right across from the new YMCA and Inez Park, which just recently opened. Shout out to Gutter Dave for showing all that stuff off. I believe I shared the live of that, but that was fun. If you ever wonder where my smell goods come from and everything, that would be D-Flame Candles. Shout out to Kinga. And hopefully she had an enjoyable. I saw some of the flyers and pictures and stuff. Seemed like a lot of people came out to support that. Of course, Tuesday was election day, so shout out to all the candidates again and all the lit people who actually, as an election official, I try and be as nice and appreciative as I can, put out my 100 feet. If you want to use the bathroom, I'll let you come in, or don't harass people. This year at Wait, they had mammoth sunflowers out, and we caught the last of the clippings and stuff. The gardener came by, and she let everybody pick up some sunflowers. I believe I have 2, and then one that I'm drying out to go in this book or bouquet of flowers I've been collecting over the past. It's a lot. And my places, we'd have some artifacts that I ain't taken back from Africa and stuff like that. Some swords and axes, a whole bunch of stuff for when I move. I'll get to put in display cases where they belong. November 8th, there was Exploring Our Faith at the Hindu Temple of Toledo. I believe that might have been for Diwali.
Yeah.
Celebration. Also Saturday and Friday, because it only had the one event, but Friday and Saturday was the Underground Lit Fest. This year it was hosted by Dan Denton. Day one was over at the Attic, and it had a whole bunch of poets and people from all over the world, from New Orleans, from New York, from Texas, And it was beautiful to hear all of their stories, and combined with everything, shout out to all the local poets, A.S. Krumer and Bob and Dan Porkchop himself, who has been winner of the Best of Toledo several times for Best Poet and stuff like that. Our poet laureate, Joni McKentry, was there, and a lot of people I started out with a decade ago are still out, still doing stuff, still being poets. They haven't really said, "Oh, I'm just going to be the artist and sell crap, or go to AI and sell crap."
Okay, all right. That's a hater move right there.
But then they had day 2 over at Culture Clash, and I heard it was like over 45 poets from all around the country. I also came over there. I wasn't able to make that one, but I was able to make Uncloistered Poetry, which is our once a month thing that we do every first Saturday of the month. The features were awesome. I got to see someone who's been at several open mics with me over the past year or so, and watch her grow, watch her write a book and stuff. Next month, me and One Single Rose will be the features for Uncloistered Poetry to close out the rest of the year. And I look forward to it, as I'll have all my books and stuff like that. I'll talk about this one in a second. So that's what was going on since we've been gone. There's been a few other things. Again, Inez Park opened. They had a big celebration for that. And that is at least all the things that I was personally invited to that I didn't get a flyer for and stuff like that. So upcoming things for this week, if you would like to attend, tomorrow at 7:30 is the Respect Your Mic Friendsgiving. It is $5 at the door, or $25 if you would like to sip and paint, because artwork is provided for you. I'll be there, of course. That is at the Code Bar, 827 Star Avenue. As another kickoff to poetry that's going around the city at least once a week. I know Toledo Market, or Toledo Handmade, has one that goes on once a month as well. But tomorrow is for the Respect Your Mic. There's also this Thursday, the I Invest in Me Leadership Conference and Fundraiser. That is by the Legacy, trying to find their actual name on the flyer, but Dr. P is going to be there. You've seen her commercial on our show many times. That is the African American Leadership Council, and Owens Community College is presenting this. And that is going to be at Owens Community College Thursday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. I believe you can still get tickets for that if you would like to, and hopefully you'll be there and get some good information. This Saturday at noon at Nexus Healthcare, that I believe is on Monroe.
Jefferson.
On Jefferson. There is going to be the Time Done event that is held by a good friend of ours, Anton Parks. Unfortunately, I'll be at work, but if you are able to make it out, you can go to Facebook and look for the Time Done event. I believe it is one of those steps into getting back into the system if you've been incarcerated or anything like that. So yeah, record sealing, expungement, reentry support, and all of that good stuff. If you would like to, be a part of that. This Sunday at 1 p.m. is the PTSD monthly support group. That is done by my friend Cece at 415 North Michigan, 1 block away from the main library downtown. Also this Sunday at 3 p.m. is the Toledo Museum of Art Town Hall. I believe I'm off this Sunday, so I'll actually be able to attend something at the art museum instead of running around like a chef. But yeah, if you wanted to go to the town hall, that is this Sunday at 3 p.m. And that is all the things that I got until we come back next week. Next week, there are some more open mics, some more things going on in the city, but I don't want to overwhelm anybody too much with things that they might not be able to make or regret.
All right, now you got a book right here.
Yes.
What's up with this book that's sitting on our desk?
So yesterday, as I was taking my mandatory detox from social media and all things that don't deserve my attention all the time, 24/7, my book, number 23, number 30, by the time March hits, because they just added me into that last anthology of past anthologies and stuff. So this is the hardcover. I know I had a couple people, Yasu, She had mentioned it, but then I got busy and stuff. I still have your copy. Just let me know, hit me up, and we'll meet up and everything. But this is the hardcover of the Childhood Trauma Series, Volume 2, A Decade of Recovery Through Art. It turned 6 months yesterday as it was released, 10 years of the date of my first book. It is affectionately called the Toledo Book. In this book, I take you through artwork and poems and pictures and places that I've been, from starting my career to going all over the place, along with you in the journey. The piece that now actually has a Sam Cooke beginning and ending to it, the Glass City Strong piece, which is another Toledo piece, is in there. There's like 7 or 8 people that through the course of my last book to this book, I encapsulated, as I've done with a lot of my books. Actually, Brother Washington is here in the library somewhere because of one of my books. If you inspire something, I add you in there. This is also my first book that comes with an index. It doesn't tell you what page the poem is on, but it gives you the title and where you can find it in the book and stuff like that. Maybe the next one, Volume 3, I'll actually put page notes and stuff like that.
Right.
But sometimes, as when I wrote my first book, I don't want a lot of filler. I don't want you reading 6 or 7 pages of indexes just to get to that favorite poem. As I've evolved as an author and a performer and entertainer and motivational speaker, I guess, as some people call me, I learned that, help people out a little bit. They may have that one poem out of 60 that they really enjoy and don't want to put a fold in it or a bookmark and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I've done as much as I can to show you the artistic side of life of survival versus the artistic side of life of survival, the happier moments, the behind the curtain stuff, the stuff you won't and may not get in this lifetime. For me, as I am getting to my decade, and this year has been beautiful, but I do realize I want to do some other stuff. And I said it the other day as we get ready to go into 5 Minutes of Heat. I was going to read a piece from that book, government and politics and stuff, but I think I got something else that will be the next series of books. But I do want to get myself used to saying this, as I've been saying it in front of my other audiences. I have 6 shows left this year. Tomorrow will be number 6, and then I have 5. Also count, if you count in our radio shows, I have 14 times to speak to people before 2026 is here. And I think it is time for me to, find other avenues to reach people. I'm working and interviewing publicists and literary agents and some other people that will let me be me more than everything, having to post, having to be there, having to show up, having to relearn how to say no. Sometimes exposure and being part of it is not what I need. And I need to spend time with my family or a friend or my grandson. So I am getting ready to transition to where I'm not going to be doing 300 shows a year, showing up to every board meeting and every cause, because I've done that already. I've broken those doors and, barred them open enough to the point where I can have some breathing moments. So that's what I'm working on.
Okay. All right. We'll stay tuned for that. We're like, all right, you said you didn't want to do 300 shows, but you did 297. All right.
Right.
You cutting back because that's what's going to happen.
A couple of years ago, I did like 531 shows. This year, I'm around a solid 3 or so, but I'm comfortable with that and ready to do less, but impact more. So maybe work with these publicists and literary agents to get my TED Talk on. I still want to do that on my bucket list, do a TED Talk. I don't know what the subject will be or how it'll be, but I think, get ready for the exit stage left here within the next decade or so.
Hey, that'll be the title, Exit Stage Left. All right. Hey, family, as we get ready for 5 Minutes of Heat, if you like what we do, we want you to subscribe, like, share, comment, and just like Imperial Dragon did, hey, get into our DMs. Should I be saying that? Well, get into our comments and make a comment while we're here live. If you like what we do, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, listen to us on Spotify. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you really feeling this and you want to support us, you can support us via Cash App. That's the cash tag CSRN Toledo 419. PayPal is CSRN 419. As soon as we get our Twitter up, we'll start posting there. Our YouTube channel is Community Solidarity Response Network. Go ahead, click on that. You probably just put 2 words in, and the rest will drop down. We really need your support in order to keep this thing going. We appreciate all the support that we've been given over the years. If you like our Black Lives Matter signs, we got a few of them in the back. Hit us up, $20 a sign. We'll bring it right out to you. We also have our Defund the Toledo Police signs. I think I've got one left, Jody. I got one left.
I have a few in my garage.
All right. We got one here in the studio that you can come and get, and you'll have one of the only signs that was actually in our studio. So you'll be getting an actual piece of history. Maybe we'll sign the inside or something.
Yeah.
I want to put my name on it, and they
you gotta,
right. All right.
Drive by the house, it'll be a whole patch of the sign gone. Like,
yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, and another shout out. I want to shout out Fame Studio. They recently had, I think,
grand opening,
a grand opening and
birthday
expansion.
Party.
Right. Anytime we see our businesses doing well, we really want to shout them out. And
my personal shout out to Shawanda Johnson. Many years ago, we were both part of the African American Club at Owens. So we did modeling, and if anybody didn't know, I did modeling.
You went back that far? Okay.
Back when Tracy Haynes was actually giving away his CD, and I forced him to take $5.
All right.
So I've known her since then and watched her grow this from, again, us getting half the budget of the regular student government and still making things work. We threw a benefit for cancer one year. So,
all right. And also, we know within the next couple of weeks, we've got Black Friday coming up. So every year, Justice or Else has the Up with Jesus, Down with Santa. On that Black Friday, if you're going to spend with your own. If you're going to spend with your own. Let's redistribute the pain. Let's recycle our dollars in our own community for once. So keep that in mind, especially after everything's being shut down and they're going to give people what they need. Let's not take what we need straight to the mall. Man, that just defeats the whole purpose. All right. We're spending money with the people that got their foot on our neck. All right. That just doesn't make good sense. And I'm hoping, Jody, that some of us will get a clue this year. All right. That none of them like us. All right. Period. So, hey, and one of the things that we do when we're about to shut it down, we have something called 5 minutes of heat, and it's our way of closing things out. We don't use Robert's rules or have a gavel and say meeting is adjourned. We use, creative expression, and 5 minutes of heat comes from the song 5 Minutes of Funk by Houdini. Shout out to Houdini. And we kind of just remixed it. Jody has been our resident 5 minutes of heat person for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Almost 11 years that and when we were at the Padua Center, we'd asked if anybody had a skill or talent.
At that building over there.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Mott Branch across, right. That was across the street.
And Kent Branch.
Right. So, hey, what do you have for us today?
So today, I think, again, I was going to do something a little bit more on the protest brand called Criminal Needs, but you can look it up in the book. You could type it in the YouTube, the title. I've constructed all of my books for the past decade that if you see a title in the book, if it is not on Facebook, it is on YouTube. If it's not on YouTube, it is vice versa. A lot of my live videos are gone when I did my 25-minute Apollo sets. But if there's a title in the book, there's a title on YouTube, which I know is probably going to be up a lot longer than Meta or whatever it is. So you can listen to it in my voice. I've tried to do that with almost every single poem I've published. There might be a couple now that's missing from this book, like the one about Black media, because that's like a 7 to 10 minute poem. But I'm going to work on that once I get some more space. But this one is actually going to be in volume 3 that is going to deal with mental health and healthcare from the patient perspective to the doctor's perspective and how they feel on both sides of the line, because, you know, it's a lot to deal with mental health and trauma and suicide prevention, and not just activism, but what happens after activism.
Yeah.
What happens after, again, elections are over and you can't march and protest. You still have to go home and sit within that part of yourself that you might feel is broken. So this piece is called Subscribe, my take on society as where we're going. So since it has been a couple weeks, I'll do my intro.
Let's go.
I am an open book, yes, open book to those that decide to read. 1,000 words, yes, 1,000 words to those who've only caught a glimpse of me. And a lifetime, yes, a lifetime to those that can say they were part of my story. If you are anywhere under the sound of my voice, you are now family. Because on this stage, yes, on this stage is where I share the most vulnerable parts of myself. And I hope, yes, I hope that you hear me. So let's begin. Peace. Subscribe. What happened to people? Where did we go? We don't have conversations anymore. Everything is a trauma bond or triggering in some way. I used to go to my friend's page and see something that happened in their day. And now all I see is short clips from other people's lives. I don't even know if you are you anymore because I don't see you no more. Just advertisement and triggering information that I really did not need to know. But now I'm staring at it in awe because that could be me. It's like people don't even read the terms of service anymore. Just click and instantly apply this filter to whatever might be happening in your real life. So someone will respond and the algorithm will let more of your friends who already have seen what you're doing do. But if that many people responded to you in person all at once, you would be terrified and overwhelmed with the sight of every waking moment. I feel lost in the connection of others, numb and overstimulated at the same time. But I just received a notification that my viewership is down. And if I've applied this many filters, boosted this post, or bought this blue check that allows me into the exclusive, yes, exclusive opportunities, and posted this many short clips of people abusing all of humanity while my head just floats in a corner, desensitized to chat. I might make $1 or $2 and my rent is due. Prices have gone up and I vacation only just to take a viral pic or video that some influencer who I'm almost 90% sure might not even be the real them. Since AI is the thing and now said, he said, I said, she should, can be free. And the whole time you're in a complete remorse effect because things don't seem to be getting any better. Autocorrect is awesome though. Trying to sound human. I hope you got that line back there. But our ancestors, yes, our ancestors, the people before we decided to put ourselves in tiny boxes and pay bills and listen to people that look down on us, but access for all of our wealth, didn't have therapists, didn't have health care, which seems more like a life sentence into a debt that you might not be able to afford. They had nature. and ancestors, and long walks and breaking bread with each other, and villages that relied upon one another, and accountability, and making mistakes until you get it right, not letting some generated program that stole from other people's mistakes of getting it right make yours empty. That's what logging on feels like now. So I ask, what happened to people? Where did we all go? Sucked into our own devices, our own personal hells of obsessing over something that can give us nothing back but an empty black hole that is ever hungry and does not know compassion for humanity because it has none. It's only capable of imitating what we feed it. And if we keep giving less and less to ourselves, maybe it does look more like reality and peace.
And as always, we snap our fingers. And once again, shout out to everybody that tunes in every Tuesday and watches our podcast. Shout out to everyone that may be streaming this later or listening to it later. And as always, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. And Black lives can't matter until all Black lives matter. Justice or else?
Yeah.
Peace.